Boredom is not bad. This is the focus group.
It's the savvy side of 9 to 5. Listen.
Bueller.
Laugh. And learn.
Negotiation. This is what you do in business.
This is the focus group with Tim Bennett.
Staunch.
And John Nash.
Keep your clothes looking neat and clean.
We're all business. Except when we're not.
Welcome to the focus group. John Nash here with my good friend and co-host, Tim Bennett. Find us here every Wednesday live on Facebook and on YouTube. Our streams from 1 to 2 p.m. Focusgroupradio.com is our website. It has all the platforms we're on, and all our media is there as well. So you can check us out and learn more about us. So here we are on the third week of the second month of the new year.
Did you practice that?
I did, yeah.
Third month on the what?
Of the second
week.
The third week of the second month of the new year, yeah.
Otherwise known as February 20th.
Otherwise known as February 20th, yeah. We all survived Valentine's Day, and here we are. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. We survived. And we survived President's Day, which was kind of a non-holiday. Like, you know a lot of people who had to work for President's Day, right?
Well, other than my garbage and getting mail, I think everyone else had, or the banks, right?
The banks, everybody was working.
Everyone had to work. Didn't we used to have President's Day?
Yeah, when I owned my agency, we gave it off to everybody.
Well, that was like Fantasy Island, that agency.
The plane.
Was there ever 5 days that were work straight?
We were like Oz. We get up at 12 and start to work at 1, take an hour for lunch, and at 2 we're done. Jolly good fun. When I was a kid, I used to say to my mom, do they work in Oz? No, sweetie, they don't work in Oz.
It's like Moon City.
They don't work in Oz.
So you were at Moon City, but, you know.
Oh, I worked.
Whether people got in on time.
That's another matter entirely.
How'd you crack the whip? Somebody doesn't show up on time. Would you say something?
You know, when you have...
So you New Yorkers will start work late.
Well... It was hard to crack the whip because the one who was supposed to be cracking the whip was the one that was breaking the rules all the time, and that was the other business partner. So there's no getting around it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Busy show today, folks. Very busy show. We're going to be welcoming some new sponsors to the program. Someone who's been with us before, someone who's new, and we'll let that sit. And then we've got some great shop talks. And when I teased one at the beginning about boredom is good, but this is a broader conversation. Did you like the article, by the way? We'll save it for shop talk.
Yeah, we'll save it. I got bored with it.
All right, we can't do anything every week without some individuals in the booth. We have the booth guys. We have Garrett, and we have John, and then behind them we have Steve. And don't you guys have your cams here? There we go. Boy, look at how sharp and clear that is.
You're calling them booth guys? It was usually the boys in the booth.
Boys in the booth.
What do you prefer? Do you have a preference?
Boys in the booth, yeah.
Booth men.
Booth men.
Ooh.
That sounds like a magazine.
It does sound like
Booth men.
Sounds like a dark title.
Dark title, right?
Magazine.
Something out of Berlin.
Or burlesque, yeah. Take your Burr something.
Berlin,
right?
Germany.
Take your pick. So have you seen any of the Oscars? What the Oscars are in like 2 weeks
Week or something.
A week or so. This is a typical year for me. Well, it's atypical because I've actually seen more than movies that I normally do. And I guess it's because, it's just my imagination, but a movie comes out at the box office and then...
It's gone.
2 months later, it's gone. And then 2 months later, it's on Blu-ray or DVD. And now you can see a lot of the Oscar-nominated films. You buy them. You didn't have to see them in the theater. You could buy it, right?
There were 3 movies this year I wanted to see and I haven't seen.
Which
I
were?
wanted to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
A Star is Born.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see Vice.
Okay. So...
Was that the one about Chaney?
Yeah, that's...
Called Vice?
Yes. Christian Bale gained all this weight to play Dick Cheney. It's Vice. Yeah, it's the movie.
I could have played him.
My mom just yesterday was insistent. I had sent her some stuff, and she got it. She called me, and she said, by the way, have you seen blank, blank, blank? So she starts with Green Book, which is a movie with Viggo Mortensen, and it's about him driving a musician around to his different gigs. And the Green Book was what African Americans used to actually navigate It's like a AAA if you're African American to sadly figure out where you could go that was
Hotels let you
safe.
stay or where you could eat.
And that you would feel welcome, or at least you're not going to get attacked or something. She loved Mary Queen of Scots. I think that.
I'm going to movies every week. Sounds like
Yeah,
it.
well, they're retired.
Good for her.
The Favorite was another one of her favorites. I saw The Favorite. I really liked it a great deal. But my mom puts at the top of her list, and you and I are both in the boat, although Deep Discount just started carrying it a week or so ago, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Really?
She's mentioned it now at least 5 times. And I keep wondering, because I've seen a couple of clips. I know that Rami Malek, who plays Freddie Mercury, does a pretty good job of channeling. I suppose he's channeling Freddie Mercury. But the fact that it came up on her list that often, she's really fixated on that one. Now, for me, I also took myself to the movies before it left the theater to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I was talking to the boys in the booth about this beforehand. I'm amazed I didn't see it when it came out first in December, because as an animation fan and a fan of a really well-told, it's a really wonderful script. You don't need to know a lot about Spider-Man except that Peter Parker's bit by a spider. He gets special powers. With great power comes great
animation?
It's animation. It's CG. It's 2D. It's comic book looking. It's a wonderful mashup of a lot of styles. It was from end to end. I walked out feeling like, wow, what a movie. This is a movie. I don't get that feeling too often. Really kind of like
horrible to me.
I think. Well, I'm not going to recommend it for you, Tim.
No, you can't.
Because I'm not so sure that's.
I got upset the time when that movie came out that was half. It wasn't Roger Rabbit, but that same sort of thing. It was like something about the toll booth. It was in the late 60s.
Phantom Toll Booth?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a kid ends up getting, and then it turned into animation. I was furious.
But did you ever see Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I won't watch. I don't want a combo. I don't like ice cream on my birthday cake. I don't want a combo movie, animation.
So that means that, do you remember the original Mary Poppins, right?
Don't like any of that. I don't like a cartoon mixed in with my movie.
Oh my God. And
Garrett probably agrees.
Yeah, I can't think of one I like.
No, they're horrible.
Pamela
John
Anderson's.
probably likes them though.
Remember Pam Anderson's Cool World?
I do remember that one.
Yeah,
yes.
that one even stunk
yes.
too. Yeah.
It's like Max Headroom.
I'm just going to let that breathe. Sometimes I should not even speak and just let you, Max Headroom.
I just don't like mixing. So that's all.
I don't like mixing. I don't like ice cream with my birthday cake. I don't like
I told you this when I was a kid. If I went to a birthday party when a little kid, 4, 5, 6, and the mother put the cake down with a scoop of ice cream on it, it sat there. I would not touch it. It gets the cake soggy. I don't like it.
Well, as kids, we were told, and this is from a father who used to put the food that we didn't eat in a blender and make us drink it. Bum. Save that for future reference. It's all going to the same place.
I didn't like the mix. I still don't. If I go to someone's house and they put ice cream on top of a cake, it's not.
Now, what if they gave you a piece of cake and a bowl of ice cream?
That's fine. That's how I want it. I don't want the ice cream.
You
touching
want
the cake.
You want division. You want separation.
Because the ice cream melts and it seeps into the cake and it gets mushy, soggy. Like that Italian cake they eat. It gets all full. It's like that rum cake or something. I don't like it.
I could just your whole body and the body language is like, oh my God. I'm like,
so I don't like. So that was the first movie as a kid. I was traumatized. I was excited for this movie.
Phantom Toll Booth.
I was excited for it, and then it turned into the cartoon, and I was upset.
Wait, let's back. I was traumatized by it.
I was.
How did this exactly traumatize you? I'm wondering.
Because I thought it was going to be a real, like something really happened. I didn't know it was going to be cartoon. Cartoon's not real.
No, a cartoon is not real. I agree.
But there was a magic phone booth or toll booth he was going through, and then I was going to find, the next dimension, but it didn't happen. Anyway, I got you off track.
Well, no, and here's one for you. I ended up watching part of. I didn't see the whole thing because I never saw it in the theaters, but I started watching the live-action version of The Jungle Book. Now, you remember the original? You might have seen the original animation.
That should be just an animation.
Okay,
That
so
should not be live action.
Now here we go. So I'm watching and it's a scene where I think it's Baloo, who's the bear, is taking care of Mowgli, and some Shaka Khan or the tiger, whatever, Shere Khan. Now, I remember the animated version, and I remember how they acted. So I'm watching this live action thing, and I'm like, I was actually creeped out by it, to be honest with you. Now, maybe if I had never seen the original, which I thought was a brilliant piece of animation, some great talent worked on that movie, I might not have been in the least bit worried about it or upset about it, but it just bothered me. I'm like, this is animated film.
I'm with you on that. It's like when they tried to do the Flintstones into movies. I loved the idea of it, and I thought some of the props
One of the Baldwin
cool.
brothers was
and the
Barney.
B-52s were in it, and I thought the concept or the idea of it I thought was great, but the translation was not very good.
No, it worked better as a cartoon. Yeah. All right. Anyway, what caught your eye this week?
Somebody must have called.
What
That's
caught
what happened.
your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
There's a button.
There's multitask.
There's that button.
Was that Billy who called? Well, let's take Billy
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, guys. It's been a while.
What's up?
John, this date in history, what happened with Mr. John Glenn?
Is this his first orbit of the Earth?
There you go.
Billy, was this Mercury or Gemini?
I think it was the Mercury 7, wasn't it?
The Mercury 7. Okay. Have you been flying at all?
Once this year. The weather's been so crappy.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because upstate I went by, I think you've probably actually landed at this airfield. What is it called? Kleinkill or something? It's a Kinderhook, Wallachia area. And they actually had a truck. It's a grass strip. You ever see these grass strip airfields? And they had a truck plowing the grass strip. And I thought, but people fly there are some nice days in the winter to fly, right?
That's 4,000 feet of fun right there.
So you've been doing good, sir?
I've been doing fantastic. Work has picked back up. Trump's in trouble, and, the world's a happier place.
I got to tell you, I hear this a lot about the Trump thing being in trouble, and I read this article the other day where the writer was a liberal writer, but she basically said there's every reason to believe he might get reelected again. And I'm sure we've all heard this, right?
Oh, yeah. Now you just had to bring me down.
Well, they were talking about the math and about the Electoral College and about a whole bunch of things that were kind of wonky, but they thought the same circumstances could possibly lead.
Well, that's why he wants Bernie in the race.
Oh.
And Bernie should be run as an independent. Bernie, you're an independent. Stop flip-flopping parties. Drives me crazy, that old kook.
That old
Screwed up the election last go-round. I don't want him to screw it up again.
He's like the crazy uncle that we all know.
Right, but he doesn't. He's not a Democrat. So stop bitching and moaning and whining about the Democratic Party. Not supporting
I find him very animated.
Oh my gosh!
What a good word, Billy. I find him animated too.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Tim. I don't like intermixed animation with real life movies. It's kind of it's fake. It's just like ugh.
Yeah, and I
won't agree with you.
No. Look, the only one that I thought was successful for me that I enjoyed was Who Framed Roger Rabbit because I like the voice acting. But honestly, it is a jarring thing to see it.
Yeah. I remember seeing it in Atlanta when I lived down there, and it was different. It was cute, but it just didn't strike me on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the new animation that DC does now when Romano, whatever her name is, she does all the voice acting for producing that. The voice acting for all the DC comics is just awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's another step above. Did you get to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Not yet. I just got caught up and seen Bumblebee and Aquaman. I'm a little behind.
You just saw Toy Story.
How'd you like Aquaman?
Oh, some people said it was slow. I found 2.5 hours went by quite well.
All right, you've now given me the check of approval to watch that. I think you will like Spider-Man.
Jason isn't bad to look on the screen either.
Have you guys seen the young Jason Momoa? A while ago, he was on Baywatch when he was younger, and what a handsome young guy.
Well, he used to do Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, Stargate. I almost forgot about that one because there was Stargate Atlantis. There was a bunch of the Stargates, right?
So it kind of figures you go from Stargate Atlantis to Atlantis.
All right, movie chat's over.
I'm sorry, Tim. I'm sorry. I know you're the old curmudgeon today.
And in the role of curmudgeon.
Thanks,
Thank you, Billy.
I'll catch you later. Bye.
You two with your movie chat. John will go all day on that.
I could have asked Billy about 10 more films.
I know it. So on the Caught My Eye this week, the title is A Coatesville Man, so Coatesville is a suburb outside of Philadelphia, used a gift card glitch to defraud eBay of $320,000.
How brilliant.
So
But I don't know how it got to 320.
The 24-year-old kid, he figured out a way that he could deduct money off a gift card. So as long as you used another form of payment. So say you put
like cash or like a credit card.
Say you were buying a $100 item, you could put 99.50 on your gift card, and as long as you did 50 cents on something else, it took 50 cents, but it didn't take the 99.50 off the gift card. It was some software glitch. He and another kid figured it out. And so it says that he chose greed over honesty because his mother says, it's the first-time offense. He really didn't do anything wrong. He really wants to help people. And the prosecutors are like, no, he's going to get 3 years in prison for doing this and defrauding eBay because they said he took full advantage of the glitch. He exploited it not once, not twice, but 1,100 times. He obtained more than 3,000 items. And if you're watching here on the video, here's some of the stuff he bought: a cotton candy machine, a brass eagle, some gold bars. He brought lots of Mac Apple products, wine glasses. My favorite thing I put in there for you, John.
Thank you.
Was a Star Wars,
Star Trek, the Enterprise,
Star Trek sushi set. So if you can go in on that, it's right below the vacuums there, John, or John and Garrett. You could probably see if you hone in there on the Star Trek sushi set. And
what are the chopsticks?
Those are the chopsticks.
The warp nacelles are the chopsticks. Okay.
So he bought all kinds of stuff, and then he would go back and sell stuff on Reddit or some of these other swap sites and go buy Xbox controllers and some other sort of stuff for cash. They said he could face 40 years in prison, but they think the prosecutor's only asking for about 3 years and some restitution. When they raided his house, they only found a few hundred items. They didn't find 3,000, so they don't know whether they're assuming he sold everything. And they said that this happens more than you'd think. That in 2017, do you want to guess how much was lost on fraud and gift card fraud for major companies?
Is it a guessable number?
I was shocked by the number.
I'm going to actually say $2.5 billion.
So this came from LexisNexis Risk Solutions, $57.8 billion in e-commerce fraud.
Oh, I would never have gone that high.
Oh, no, I was shocked by that. And they said this reminded them of another story of a British homeless man who had a debit card that wouldn't take money off either. He went on a spending spree for £60,000 until he got caught. He's now spending 2 years in jail. So they said this kid, Brody, used 4 different eBay accounts, 113 gift cards to make his 1,100 transactions. He only used his last name and address and changed his name, so he knew what he was doing.
Well, and any prosecutor is not going to have trouble proving intent when you've done it 1,000, how many times?
1,100 times.
Yeah, if it were 3 times, you might brush it off and say, okay, kid, it's slap on the wrist.
So his mother is pleading for leniency, saying he had no idea he was being investigated or watched, and he stopped what he was doing when he realized he was hurting others and found a better place in life to be part of, says his mother, Loretta. Prosecutor said he only stopped when eBay fixed the glitch.
What? Who's not going to take advantage of that? Oh my God, that's a good caught your eye, Tim. Well, mine's very different. It's visual, but I'm going to walk our audio audience through it. This comes from my friend Christine, who now lives out in Chicago. She sent me a link to this, and Christine said, "This is for you, John." So the headline is "Famous Classic Album Covers Mashed Up with Star Wars Characters." She knows I'm a Star Wars fan, as my mother does, which is why I get Star Wars gifts from everybody in my life. That could stop soon, by the way. I have enough Star Wars
letting
stuff.
Everybody know.
Yeah, Steve Lear is a London-based digital artist with a self-proclaimed unhealthy obsession for movies, music, and Photoshop. He's managing a record store, and he found a way to promote the shop. He would insert the company's logo into images of whatever the new release was that week. As the albums kind of dried up and his ideas for putting company logos into album covers faded, he turned his little desire to play around with Photoshop and stuff to Star Wars. And the results are that he took old album covers and remixed them in a Star Wars vein. So let's call up the first one.
It's always a nerd involved in this.
It's always a nerd involved.
Right, Garrett?
So what we're showing is an original David Bowie cover. And then next to it is a very funny rendition of it where they put Harrison Ford's face on it. It's called Solos. What was the original Bowie one? I should know this because I'm a Bowie. Heroes, right. So, all right, Heroes and Solos. Okay, the next one is from ABBA Super Trooper. So the original has the ABBA standing in the middle of a ring of people with like the god light shining down, and they're all wearing white. And then then the album he did was called Jabba Super Trooper, and there's Jabba the Hutt in the middle of the album, which is kind of cute. So, love this one. This is Bjork, right?
Yeah.
So on the left is Bjork. It's the album cover where she's got her hands in prayer up by her mouth. And then what he did was instead of her face, he put in Princess Leia. Which
I think that album was called Big.
Big. I thought it was well
Almost
done.
looks the same.
Yeah, isn't it fun? That one, I like when they're subtle.
Yeah.
Where you have to do a double take and say, wait a minute, that's not Bjork, that's Carrie Fisher. So what's our next one here?
I didn't get this one.
Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Okay, so on the original Dark Side of the Moon cover, there is a prism, so it looks like a triangle, and then the light on the left comes in, and the rainbow comes out. His version is the Death Star, so instead of a prism being there, it's the round Death Star, and out of the Death Star is coming the rainbow of light, because it shoots the death ray.
That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get it, yeah. Joan Jett's original album, Joan Jett and the Black Hearts.
Which one's Joan?
And that's why I like this one, because the version that he did has a Boba Fett helmet. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter from the Star Wars universe. It just says Boba Fett. And then I think it says something about...
I love bounty hunting.
I love bounty hunting. Instead of I love rock and roll, I love bounty hunting. Thank you, John.
What movie was Boba Fett in?
He premiered in probably The Empire Strikes Back, and then he met his untimely demise in Return of the Jedi, but then his son was in...
This is a series. Star Wars.
Oh boy, yeah, John, I know. He knows better. Don't let him push the buttons.
Wait, there's more than one?
I didn't know you need to watch them together. No wonder why I don't understand them. Look at John Shea.
Wait, there's more than one? Click, click. All right, let's get the last. So if everybody remembers that famous Nirvana album cover with one of their band members' babies floating in a pool and there's a dollar bill kind of in front of the baby, well, they took that instead. They put Yoda's head on the baby, and it's just called Yoda.
Now, did I miss something in this originally? I don't ever remember the baby's little bird hanging out when it was...
Oh, that's the original album cover.
Yeah, that's so it was? Did I miss that all these years?
Guys, I'm right about... Yeah.
Yeah, it was always
that
there.
little bird was always there, even
Yeah.
then?
Yep.
I don't remember.
It's a baby.
I know it's a baby. I just always thought they took the bird out.
The bird. Okay. All right. All righty. Well, Tim, I tell you, you are, moving right along here. All right. As many of you know, Deep Discount is a partner of ours here on the Focus Group. We want you to go to Deep Discount by going to focusgroupradio.com and clicking on the shark logo. Arrgh! It's called Sharky the Shark. I am still on my quest to find a puppet of a shark that goes from the hand to the elbow, so Sharky could be down here and he could do his thing. Because I have a hand puppet we got in down in Rehoboth, which I love the hand puppet, but I want a full puppet.
Yeah, I know you do, and you're going to find one.
And I'm going to find one, yeah. So during the month of February, Deep Discount has a code you can use on anything you buy. Put your order together, and at the end of it, you could put in code FG15, FG15. It's a one-time use-only code, good for everything except games and game consoles, and cannot be used with other coupons. But that being said, load up, put in FG15, and get 15% off. It's a sale. The sale that we looked at today was TV, comedy, family, animation, and variety. So, Tim, you go first.
So this was, so everybody knows when I go into the sale page, I start flipping around. I usually like to go to the end and poke around, but this one popped up to me, and it's something you've talked about in other shows. So the title is TV Guide Classics Television Legends, and it's a 3-disc set. It's under $10.
Love the cover.
And it's a set of 3 of TV's greatest legends in one collection. And it's the most memorable and legendary personalities, they said, of television: Johnny Carson, Jack Benny, and Milton Berle. There's 17 hours of comedy, guest star skits, musical acts. So they've taken their best shows and put them on each disc. People like Frank Sinatra, Bob Hope, Marilyn Monroe, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, Bing Crosby, Bogart, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Carol Channing. I mean, it's nonstop nonstop Hollywood royalty. And the thing I found funny about it toward the very end, so they give a description of Johnny Carson's shows, Jack Benny's program, and then the Milton Berle show, which I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they said that show was the one single show that sold thousands of televisions.
People had to have it in their house.
So they could watch Milton Berle. They said his comedy sketches, musical acts, and guest stars would abound in that show, and he sold thousands of televisions to eager Americans wanting to watch Uncle Milty and see what he was doing this week.
So Uncle Milty is responsible for putting a TV in almost every home.
That's
I bet.
what they're saying.
Wow.
So it's it's.
I love the cover of this thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's the old TV guide, right?
Yeah.
So it's so you can get it. As I said, 3 discs. It originally came out in 2015. And the DVD list price is $9.98.
Well, for 17 hours of
17 hours of all that stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else.
I tell you, you're a good shopper. You're a really
Well,
good
I
shopper.
like to shop.
And you like a deal too.
What did you get?
I picked a BBC series I never got to see, and I do want to watch it, and I'm going to order it. It's called Vicious.
I heard that was good.
It's supposed to be funny. It tells the comedic story of aging partners Freddie, played by Ian McKellen, and Stuart, played by Derek Jacobi, 2 men who have lived together in their Covent Garden flat for nearly 50 years. Now, there's a recipe for some trouble. Freddie was a budding actor, and Stuart worked in a bar when they first met, but their careers are pretty much over, and their lives now consist of entertaining their frequent guests, making sure that their aged dog Balthazar is still breathing, and hurling caustic insults at each other. So I hear the words caustic insults, and I say BBC ab fab. I think of that kind of thing.
Right. Are you being served?
Are you being served? The stinging kind of fun stuff. So I picked Vicious Season 1. There are 2 other seasons, I believe, and you could also get those at deep discount.
I've heard lots of good things about it. So
But again, you and I, it's like on the radar. I should... Too much to watch, but this one I want to see.
And the new release this week is a movie I haven't seen, but I want to see. A Star is Born on Blu-ray. So Bradley Cooper, he wrote and directed this. It's the 3rd updating of William Wellman's 1937 drama. I was unaware it was that old.
I realize... This is the 3rd or the 4th update?
This is the 3rd.
Okay.
And unless I read that wrong. But yes, it's the 3rd updating. But I always remembered the one with Barbra Streisand. So there must have been one before then.
That's the one I remember too, yeah.
But they said Lady Gaga does an unbelievable performance in this. Did you see this in theater?
I have not seen it, and I'd like
want
to
to
see
see
it. Well, that's a funny question because, the one that I'm aware of is the Judy Garland version with Charles Mason, and there are some scenes in that movie that are super memorable. And, of course, I remember the Barbra Streisand version. So I'll probably get around to seeing this. But when it came out in theaters, I was ambivalent. It feels to me like I would definitely get it on Blu-ray or DVD because I'd feel comfortable with that. And I know I'm being bad, but... So
head over to focusgroupradio.com, click on the deep discount logo, and start shopping away. We have a special code for listeners. It's FG15. So it's a one-time use only code. It's good for everything except games and game consoles and can't be used with any other coupons. But load up your cart and save 15%. Right, Garrett?
Thanks, deep discount.
So we're going to change up things. Today. We have a business birthday.
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but the Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
This is one of those that I liked, and I don't think we've ever done before. His name is Herbert Vollrath Kohler Jr.
Kohler. As in plumbing Kohler? Well, fixtures.
Fixtures.
Yeah.
Born February 20th, 1939. He's 80 years old. I love that picture of him with a cigar. My little dog, Chihuahua Spike, sings to the Kohler commercial where the plumber's in there and he's doing the opera, is playing in the shower. That comes on and Spike sings. He also now will sing to the Volvo ad. He loves opera. Spike will sing to opera. I should get a video of it.
I wonder what the thing is that
Something
he...
with a high-pitched... I've got to get a video of him. Anyway, it's Herb Kolber. I'll call him Herb. Kohler's birthday. He's 80 years old today. Best known for plumbing products and fixtures, John, of course. He went to, talk about a pedigree. He went to school, so his family's in Wisconsin. Obviously, that's where Kohler's based. But he went to Choate, or as they say in the Midwest, Choate. He went to Choate in Connecticut, and then went to Yale. And after he graduated Yale, he went to work for the company, his family's company at Kohler. And they said he worked in the manufacture of bathtubs and toilets and plumbing fixtures. He was a laborer and a tech in every single division of the company, which I think is great. The family made him work in every
division of the company.
And every job. He had to do everything.
All the way down to shipping and receiving, okay, interesting.
So they made him an officer when he was 33. Under his leadership, the company more than doubled in size, and he added engine and generator business to Kohler, which I didn't realize that.
Kind of an odd, don't you think it's a brand extension? I mean,
there must have been some.
And it's under the Kohler name.
It's under the Kohler name. He also launched an interiors group, which now encompasses 5 furnishing lines.
Furniture too.
Well, it says furnishings, and I was wondering if that meant, if you got...
Yeah, that's different.
You kit out a kitchen
Yeah.
with faucets and this, that. And
Everything
things,
could match, yeah.
So he's been in the National Kitchen Hall of Fame and obviously a number of other awards. He's worth, you want to guess how much he's worth, John, his net worth?
Net worth.
He took a little hit in 08.
Took a hit in 08. I'm
Back up.
to put him at $2 billion.
9.1 billion.
9.1 billion. Boy.
Get to Wisconsin. He's an avid golfer, big golf fan, also likes to have racehorses.
Is he still involved in the day-to-day of the company?
He gave it to his son to run. So he retired in I should know this. He retired in 1989. No. When did he retire? I'll have to find it. He retired and his son is running the business.
Okay.
Now. But
I would think that an owner like that would be so invested in the business, and because he knows it so well that it would be hard for him to step back, right?
I would think so. I mean, that would be the sort of thing. So I'm sorry. So in April 2015, he announced that he was stepping down as CEO. He gave the title to his son David.
Okay.
But now he just does golfing stuff. He was in a movie with Kevin Costner. He and Kevin Costner are friends.
What a riot, right? Good birthday. Good business birthday.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting one because we all know Kohler, and Kohler, there's a great, I used to go to Sheboygan all the time. Sheboygan, when I worked, which is where Kohler is. And there was not a lot of places to stay near Green Bay and Sheboygan. So Mary Ann turned me on to this, our friend. There's a Kohler Inn right there because when you would visit, well, obviously they'd get a lot of vendors and people going through, but I was visiting car dealerships. But if you were able to get into the Kohler Inn, it was the best showers, the best tubs, the sinks. I mean, it was all outfitted and
that water limiting.
Oh my God, it was one of the best places. If you're in Sheboygan, head over to the Kohler Inn area.
All right.
Happy birthday, Herbert.
We want to welcome a new partner to the show, and there's a company called, the product and the company are called Molecule, Molekule, the only air purifier that actually destroys pollutants. So when I saw pictures of this device, I do believe I emailed some of the sales team, and I'm like, this is right up my alley. It looks like it's Star Wars or Star Trek. Very, very sophisticated. It's the end result of a 20-year development process by Dr. Yogi Goswami, whose son was asthmatic, I believe. And this is a little piece of knowledge that I never knew. The HEPA filter. We all think of HEPA filters as being the thing. It gets rid of all the impurities, right? Developed when, Tim?
In the 40s.
World War II.
So it's antiquated technology. They said, imagine if you're still using a rotary phone now. It's the same sort of
I would call that kitsch or cool, but
no, but using the HEPA, so the HEPA filter, I didn't realize that either. That's old technology. Actually, it's antiquated technology. And I also didn't understand when they did these studies, because they did them with real people. They said that in all their testing, that indoor air could be 5 times as worse than outdoor air.
It's trapped air.
And I've noticed myself as I've gotten older, I never was allergic to cats. I never was allergic to certain things. And I always just chalk it up to the season. But everybody says there's so many chemicals and things that are produced now. We have so many items of clothing or whatever that may have...
and they leach, stuff
cars, everything, right. And so that this really takes the impurities out of the air and kills them. And there's a number of instances where people that have had asthma or allergies have had the molecule in their house, and they said it's the first time in 15 years.
So basically it's a 2-filter system. The air passes over a pico filter, which is technology that was designed and created by a Molecule, and it destroys indoor air pollutants at the molecular level, and that's bacteria and viruses as well. And then it also then would pass through a HEPA filter as well. So not only are you destroying the airborne particulate matter, which is often far too small to get picked up by a HEPA filter, but then you're passing it through that technology as well. And the device is apparently, and from what I've seen online and checked it out, it's very quiet. It's almost silent.
It's the Apple of air purifiers.
Apple of air purifiers. You could pick it up, move it to any room you want. I would definitely send you to molecule.com is the website, right?
It's molecule.com, and it's spelled MOLEKULE. So it's MOLEKULE.com. And there's a special offer right now for Focus Group listeners. You get $75 off your first order if you use the promo code at checkout of FOCUS. That's not too hard to remember, John. Focus. FOCUS. That seems to be our code for a lot of these.
Well, I like it. It works for me. But yeah, so I think this is something to check out. I suffer from indoor allergies. Not so terrible, but
You used to have asthma, didn't you?
And I was asthmatic as a child, and I would say that if there's something that you could do that would clean your environment without having to take a pill or an allergy something or other, like the drops or whatever, why not, right? And I thought that stat that you had about the air indoors being actually
5 times as well.
5 times. You don't think that way about your home, do you?
Nope.
So again, it's molecule.com, MOLEKULE. I think this is pretty cool technology. The website's beautiful. I think you'll get a good education there on what the product does and what their philosophy is behind it. And again, Focus Group listeners, if you're going to be shopping there, be sure to use the code FOCUS, FOCUS, and you get $75 off your first order, which is not bad.
And it was backed by the EPA. So that's what the most important thing is.
Look at that teaching finger. And
it's backed by the EPA. So you know that there's lots of things that aren't FDA approved or whatever. This is EPA approved.
And it's first class air.
First class air. Hey, so thank you, Molecule. It's the Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got some shop talk. So stay with us.
You're listening to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com. Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with The Focus Group.
Try, really try.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
I never try anything. I just do it.
Welcome back to the Focus Group. John Nash with Tim Bennett. And as Billy, our caller and our listener for many years, said, is it the curmudgeon, Tim? Are you?
I'm usually a curmudgeon. I own that. And I used to like when our old producer Matt would play, when I'd get on my soapbox.
The Andy Griffith theme.
Remember that showed up that day?
You were going on about something, and he just put the music under you, and I couldn't stop laughing. Oh, my God, it was so funny.
I was pontificating about something.
Take a pick. You might pontificate about what we're going to talk about now.
I know.
So at the top of the show, I think I just said boredom's not a bad thing. This is the Focus Group. So there was an article that came out in the Times. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And it was about let children get bored again. And it wasn't... Boredom teaches us that life isn't a parade of amusements. More important, it spawns creativity and self-sufficiency. So the front end of the article is about how about overparenting and underparenting, and the author, who was a woman, talked about the different styles of parenting and how nowadays we seem to be like alarm bells go off if kids have nothing to do. And yet when we grew up, I don't mean to date myself too much, but that was the furthest thing from my parents' mind was whether or not we were bored or not.
Yeah, and then, you're right. And when I read that, I thought, you know what? They have dance class, they've got language class, they're going to do this, they're going to do that.
We're scheduled.
They've got to play. Right. Why not just let the kid come home from school and figure it
out? So there was a funny little. I'm going to just read this one paragraph. People used to accept that much of life was boring. Memoirs of pre-21st century life are rich with tedium. When not idling in drawing rooms, members of the leisured class took long walks and stared at trees. They went motoring and stared at more trees. Those who had to work had it a lot harder, but those jobs were unfulfilling, and they knew their children and they themselves were in for a lifelong trudge through boredom. Only a few short decades ago, during the lost age of underparenting, I like that, the lost age of underparenting, grown-ups thought a certain amount of boredom was appropriate, and children came to appreciate their empty agendas. In an interview with GQ magazine, Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton, credited his unattended afternoons with fostering inspiration because there is nothing better to spur creativity than a blank page or an empty bedroom. So then she transitions in the article to what this means as an adult, and I am a big fan of stepping away from. I actually, this is a conflict for me. I like to think that everything I do is goal-oriented. If I have extra time, I should be on my bike. I should be at the gym. I should be in yoga. I should be doing something, right? But oddly, the times I don't do anything are some of the most memorable for me, and also the most creative. So I think that's why I probably like this so much. But now you have issues.
You do that because you think you have to do that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I remember one time we were traveling. We were all mad at you because I think we had. Remember this? We were in Colorado, and you had. I think there was 45 minutes before dinner, and we just got to the resort.
I tried to go for a swim.
Oh, I think I'm going to go for a swim. And we said, no, you're not.
I wanted to do laps.
You need to get back to your hotel and unpack and unwind and get ready for dinner. You don't have time to go do laps and do a swim.
No, you actually it was like.
Yeah. Because by the time you dicked around and talked to everybody on the way to the swim and at the swim and home from the swim, it had been 2 hours.
No, you shut me down. You're like, no, you're going to go to your room. You're going to unpack. You're going to lay it down for a second. You're going to shower. And I was much happier for doing that.
When I read this, and I picked up the same things you did on it, but I will say I got bored with the article. But I remember as a kid, now we lived, it was somewhat rural, but, you rode your bike, you went for a hike.
Sometimes you did nothing.
You build a fort, you played with trucks when you were little. I don't know. I would find something to do.
I went on a walk the other day, before the winter set in with my mom, and we went by this culvert that was down the road. It seemed like it was a long way from the house when I was a kid, but it was really close. And it's just one of those big tubes they bury, and then they pave over. And
I used to love going through those.
Love culverts.
Dam them up.
Okay, so my mom just kind of looks at it and she goes, "Oh, do you remember all the hours you used to spend testing your boat designs?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she said that I would spend hours in the basement going through my dad's spare wood, like the scraps.
Right.
And I would Elmer's glue together all these different things that we would float through. And we would try to see which went the fastest. Some never made it. The glue would all break apart. And I said, "How long did I do this?" She goes, "Oh, there was one summer where all you kids, every day, you were like, we got to go to the culvert." So I don't know that I was bored, but
no, but you found ways to
spend your time.
And a lot of it revolved around creativity. The one other big takeaway for me that I think we've all seen is they said teachers now, and this would be interesting to ask your mom about. They said kids don't want to sit through lectures anymore; they want to be entertained.
Yes.
And that's that whole kind of Candy Crush attention span. They want lots of visual aids and interactive ways for teaching. And I thought about this for when you and I present, and a lot of times the people we present to are younger, and I'm wondering if that's probably also an issue we need to pay attention to, that people's attention spans are so short anymore. To sit through a 20-minute presentation, are they bored? Or are they like, I want all right, so pictures and I want action and I want to see things moving?
A little bit about me and Tim. We have a an agency called Tribury Productions. Relevant content tailored. That's our tagline. You need a tagline, folks. You need a tagline. We gave a presentation last week up here in New York, and if you're in business and you do this kind of stuff, you have a pre-meeting discussion, and then you have a post-meeting kind of a Monday quarterbacking the game kind of thing, right? So the team that we met with, they were younger than us, and they were super nice, and it was a friendly get-together. But the behavior that we both observed during the presentation was something that I don't have a control over, and I'm not sure what it meant or whether or not I was getting the full attention of the attendees, but they would 5 to 6 minutes maybe, they would all flip their phones over and literally stare at them and then flip them back down and then look back up at you as if they were re-engaging the conversation. Now, you can play like you can multitask, but study after study after study has shown that we are not capable of multitasking. So what that simply means is when they diverted their attention from us to the phone had their attention. And so we finished up the meeting and we were heading uptown to another meeting actually. And Tim said to me, "What do you think?" And we were talking. Then he brought it up. You said, the phone thing. And I said, "I don't know. They seem to be engaged. They asked the right questions."
What I was so close to saying, and I know that we'd be shown the door, I would say, "I'll wait."
Well,
But that's kind of what you want to say, because I'm here speaking with you, and if you're going to do this
physically, it's not even.
Well, I'm talking to you, and that happens more. It happens more and more and more, but that's expected. And we have a good friend of ours who's been on the show a bunch, Kelly McDonald. Yep. She says when she's doing her speeches in corporate events, 90% of the audience has their face buried in a laptop or something. She goes, I know they're not taking notes. I know they're not paying attention. They say they're tweeting the speech or whatever she's doing or the presentation. But we've become accepted to that, and that led into this as well. They said car trips as a family.
You nailed it.
No, and they talked about how when we used to go on a car trip, you sat in the back, and you might have had a book or you played a game along the way, you did whatever, but now it's all about what can I load up for the kids to watch and keep them occupied.
It's a whole panic thing. Like, what do we do for the kids in the car? Yeah.
How about sit?
And how about, or one of the things she says is back in the day when you took a car trip, it was, you had ad libs, you might have brought a book with you.
How many different license plates can you find?
Bug, you'd play the bug game, or you antagonized your siblings.
Yeah.
In my case, it was my older sister, maybe sometimes.
Did you sit in the middle?
I was usually the middle kid, yeah. I got the hump.
You didn't put Laura on the hump?
No. But I sometimes got to sit in the back. Remember when the station wagons had the seats that came up that faced the back window? God, they would never do that. Didn't even have a seat belt.
No.
Because, if anything happened, if you got rear-ended, but if the car front end, you're out.
We all lived.
Yeah, we all lived, yeah. So so the article I enjoyed, and it made me think, and it made me realize that learning how to do nothing and being bored, quote unquote, is actually it helps you as an adult develop some amazingly good skills. In fact, I'll leave you with this one thought. The ability to handle boredom, not surprisingly, is correlated with the ability to focus and to self-regulate. That's an important thing, right? The ability to say, that means you can construct your own schedule, you can get stuff done, and the opposite of when we're overstimulated, we cannot control our own schedule, we just want to be stimulated.
Our friend Mary Seaton,
yep.
Who's no longer with us, but I remember her talking at a time growing up, and she was one of 9 kids, I believe, and her mother, they were all saying, we're bored, Mom, and she said, my mother only told us once, she said, I don't ever want to hear you say that again. There's no reason for you to be bored with so many books to read.
Oh, ding, 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 A+, right?
And she said we never said it again. She's like, don't ever tell me you're bored. Look at all these books. Lots of books to read.
Go at it.
Yeah,
right? All right. So many of you last year remember that Mack Weldon joined us on the show for a couple of broadcasts. And Mack Weldon is a premium men's essentials brand that believes in smart design and premium fabrics, and we can attest to this. So Tim and I ordered some of the stuff from Mack Weldon. I got a pair of briefs and a T-shirt and a pullover. I have a story about the pullover in a moment. Some of your clothing's been stolen.
My clothing was stolen, so that's how you know it's good, when it disappears. But I have the boxer briefs, which I love. And I actually do get excited when I put them on, because they are probably the most comfortable underwear I have, I would say right now. They're my go-to. Whenever they're clean, they go first. And the socks are unbelievable.
Whenever they're clean, they go. I hope that means they go first often.
Well, then no, you do your laundry, and then they are. So they're my go-to. Whenever they're there, they get picked first. And the socks are great because they have that special padding and with the cotton. And I got the T-shirt as well. And I ran into this the other day with another T-shirt, and I laughed. I'm like, you do get what you pay for. I bought this T-shirt that was really cheap, and it looked good the first time I wore it, and then I washed it, and then the
warps.
Yeah, the collar got all rolled. Yeah. And
it doesn't happen with Mack Weldon.
No, it hasn't happened with my Mack Weldon stuff. So you do get what you pay for.
My brief experience, meaning the briefs that I got from Mack Weldon, is slightly different. So I got red was the color I got, and they fit so different than the normal briefs that I wear that I almost want to save the briefs, the Mack Weldon briefs, for like date night or or something like that, because
make you look full-figured.
Well, they fit very well and they're comfortable, but I feel that it's almost like one of those things where it's like, I'm going to wear my special underwear, for date night. But I'm like you. That's also the first time I pile them and the whole laundry gets done. But in relation to this whole notion of being super comfortable, so I ordered a Mack Weldon pullover. It's a V-neck, long-sleeve pullover. It's extremely comfortable. I wear it a lot, as in all the time, and including up at our house upstate. And I wear it so often that I don't usually wash it that often. So I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and I said, "Hey, Mom, I'm wearing this." I was telling her husband Jim should check out Mac Weldon because he likes to follow that stuff too. And I said, "You should get this thing." And I said, "I'm wearing this top. I don't really wash it too often because I'm so comfortable." "Oh, it's like your blue blanket." So this is memory lane time. I said, "What is my blue blanket?" She goes, You don't remember your blue blanket?" I said, "No." She goes, "Oh, you dragged this thing around for," she goes, "Oh my God." She goes, "It drove us crazy. It was filthy."
Ew.
She said, "You would drag it around, and if I washed it, you would stand at the washing machine and stand at the dryer, and when it came out, it went in your hand again." She said, "Slowly but surely, the blanket got so bad, they would cut pieces off to get it." She goes, "Finally, the blue blanket was down to a foot, like a 6x6
little rag. I'd have had you
square." She said, "By then you could give it up," but she said it was it's soft and it had a certain. She goes, so she thinks my Mac Weldon pullover V-neck.
I would have given you a
Navy,
pledge and had you dust.
She thinks it's kind of like my
My pullover, as I
blanket.
said, is missing. So I think it's one of two places, and I'm still looking for it. But that's a sign of good quality clothing.
Good quality,
when
yeah.
somebody takes it. So be sure to head over to MacWeldon.com, MacKweldon, and you get 20% off your first order as a focus group listener. And
what's the theme of the day for code passwords?
Focus. So use the promo code FOCUS at checkout. And I do believe we have our own little site there at Mac Weldon.
We do?
I believe so.
You mean like our little
I think we got
little
a little
caricatures?
I think so. I think if you go and look for us, I think you'll find us there. I'll have to check that out though. But be sure to check out all the great clothing at Mac Weldon. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have one more shop talk. So stay with us.
You're listening to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com. Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with The Focus Group.
Been in business a week. I got more money than I know what to do with.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
Herrera Rocher. He is doing well.
Oh, you caught me with my John mug. Focus group, John. Welcome back to the
That was
show.
really, really bad acting.
Well, I was trying to imitate
You're
you.
trying to imitate me, but that was, you got to be a little more fluid, John.
Oh, boys
Do
in
it
the
again.
booth.
Start again. Now take the cup. Oh, you caught me.
Oh.
No. There's no Oscar coming out of this room.
Hey, look, when I took animation classes and you had to act and videotape yourself doing it, I was not exactly Oscar worthy. Although in my head I was doing something like, Laurence Olivier, probably. So, all right. So that was welcome back. It's me and Tim, John Nash and Tim Bennett. FocusGroupRadio.com is the website for our show. Visit it, and you can learn all about the platforms we're on, and all our media is there as well, including the partners, our logos of our partners. Last Shop Talk is a super quick one, and Tim, I did read this. Of course, you like local politics for Philly and New York, and this just totally screams New York politics, right?
Well, it's a big, big national story, too.
Yeah. So the headline reads, New York City Councilman blames the gay agenda for scuppering the Amazon deal. I had to look up scuppering, by the way.
Know what it means?
Sinking.
Sinking, like you would a scupper a ship.
Scupper the boat.
They sunk the deal.
I feel like the Gloucester, the Gorton's fishermen. Fish sticks, scupper the boat.
So everyone knows Amazon was going to do their second headquarters
Queens,
in
Long Island City.
Right.
Yep.
And then there was some issue that they weren't, as Amazon was working with local politicians, that they found, I forget how they exactly phrased it, that things were not as agreeable as maybe they initially thought.
No.
Now, you New Yorkers, you don't seem to be all too upset by this, that they're leaving. They decided not to.
They pulled the plug. They didn't want to deal with some of the requests of the local politicians for worker protections or wage stuff. And all I say is go to Seattle. Fly to Seattle. Ask people who live in Seattle, who lived there for 20 years, how much it costs to rent an apartment now. Seattle was the most affordable city on the West Coast until, boom, boom. And that's even with Microsoft at the door, was Amazon's campus in downtown Seattle. It is now one of the most, it's rivals San Francisco.
They've taken over the city.
So a lot of New Yorkers were kind of like, the subways aren't running that great to begin with. Now you're going to put 25,000 people in Long Island City, and you want to get there back and forth. And I don't know. I wasn't too busted up about this. And the other fact is, our governor was going to give Amazon $3 billion in tax credits. Okay, so no, it wasn't that they were giving them a check for $3 billion. It's credits over time. But if you're going to give someone $3 billion in tax credits, why not just figure out a way to give the MTA more money and education? I don't know.
Well, this guy, Ruben Diaz.
Oh, well, yeah,
So he says he blamed it on the gay agenda. So he says Amazon pulled out because of all the gays that have infiltrated city council and
infiltrated.
Right.
That's his word for being elected, but
so
they
is this a deal? I was not aware of this. Are there a lot of LGBT people on the council?
There's a number, yeah, because it's representative of the city's different neighborhoods. So, one of the most prominent is Council Speaker Corey Johnson. But yeah, I love this. He says this is Ruben Diaz. Everybody's controlled by the homosexual community.
He's a Pentecostal minister, by the way.
Oh, there you go. He's. I guess he hasn't fallen under my mind control yet, because I don't control anybody. But
so they were condemning Diaz for saying this. But it's similar to why that I saw that. It reminded me of Falwell and all the other ones where they blame the hurricanes on the gays or
natural disasters.
New Orleans happened because we allowed gay marriage or any of these sort of things, or we allowed adoption. Or we allowed a trans person to use another bathroom, so there was a storm. God told you things are bad, John.
Yeah, this was. Have you saw the pictures of Ruben Diaz?
I haven't seen.
He's very flamboyant. He has
flamboyant.
He has a hat. Sometimes he wears like one of those Western kerchief things. He's got rings and
bells on his toes.
Because I guess like every Pentecostal minister, you got to show the sparkle and the set thing they bring. What?
Did you see the big kerfuffle, by the way, as you brought this up, with Martina Navratilova?
That was the no. Is there a new one?
There's a new one. Maybe we'll use that for Unbuttoned on Tuesday.
All right, save that.
Tune in Tuesday
to Unbuttoned,
for that
our 20-minute podcast.
For that kerfuffle.
So we're done with.
I think so. I just thought there was blaming the gays for
Amazon pulling up stakes,
but it was a bigger issue than that. But the New Yorkers don't seem to care.
Well, no, there are a lot of people that do care. There are a lot of here's an example. There are a lot of businesses in Queens who are counting on the foot traffic to really make things explode. Interestingly, the PBS NewsHour went out to Seattle and they interviewed local businesses and restaurants. And there was one restaurant that it was lunchtime. It was empty. And the owner in Seattle, and the owner says, you know what? They never leave the campus. They don't come down to the local restaurant. Exactly, like Nike. They don't leave. They have everything they need there. They don't come out and shop here. So,
I wonder if there's a lot of people up around Queens that bought properties or bought restaurants in the hopes that they were.
The New York Times ran an article shortly after the announcement. In fact, the day of the announcement, that they interviewed real estate broker after broker after broker who said, this is going to cause problems because a lot of people were buying out there on the anticipation that what they bought would skyrocket in value. Because guess who's there? Amazon. So, yeah.
That didn't happen. Well, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Good show. Thanks to the booth men. That's going to be the new name.
No, I thought you said it had to be the boys in the booth.
The boys in the booth. The boys in the booth. The booth men. Look at they're all doing their little sign off.
Camera, yeah.
Thanks to Molecule for being a new partner with us here today. As always, thanks to Deep Discount, and thanks to Mac Weldon. So you can get your undergarments, John. You can sit and watch a movie.
And then you could have air as clean as a Starship Enterprise.
And listen to us and laugh and learn. Remember to arrive alive, don't text.
Oh, oh my God, you invented.
Don't text and drive, arrive alive.
There we go.
You got to put that up sooner.
No, Johnny. I think, John, what I think it is, I think it's the red light.
I don't know what happened to me.
No, I think that little light goes on, and
I'm not ready for Morning Joe. I want to be ready for Morning Joe. I can't get it if I can't even get Don't Text and Drive.
If you get on Don't Text and Drive, you have to write it down. You should.
I always thought it was Arrive Alive, and Garrett changed it on me.
No, he did not. Oh, Garrett's getting the blame. Garrett.
I apologize.
I think you did say, because I used to say, you said, no, I think here's how it needs to go.
Yeah,
so I have a mental
it is my fault.
Yeah, maybe.
Now he's your apologist?
Well, Garrett and I got a thing.
I'm an Oreologist, guys.
We've got to do. We got
a taste test. Yeah.
Did we do carrot cake? I think we did.
Yeah, we did do carrot cake.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
There's a new one though. That's we'll have to bring it in. Anyway, we say goodbye.
It's The Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. Accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.
That was a stunning focus group.